Tonight on The Right Show on Record.
This Anti-Kamote thing, this is more than a content creator thing. This is more than an influencer thing.
Good.
Diba? It's a form of higher calling nga. It's an everyday thing. It's a daily battle. Kaya nga pag tinatanong ako ng mga tao, ba't ka ba galit? Ba't lagi kang galit? At mababalik ko sa inyo, bakit hindi?
So you are also receiving mixed reactions.
Yes, a lot.
So not only support but also
Yes.
bashing.
Yes.
Talaga?
Yes, a lot of bashing. May mga nagpa-private message ka sa akin, minumura ako eh.
Talaga?
Calling me all kinds of words. But if you know what, if they engage in conversation with me, and I ask them, pare, anong mali sa ginagawa ko? Kapag sinabi mong kamote, motor agad. Pero ako, no. Even four-wheel drivers, may kamote. Bus drivers, ang daming kamote. Truck drivers, ang daming kamote. Tricycle, taxi, lahat yan. Because the way I'm describing it now, or the way I define it now, kamote is a mindset, it's a lifestyle, it's a daily decision to choose to do wrong. Pinaka-dangerous, syempre yung mga biglang kabig, di ba? Na mga oportunista na parang, uy, maluwag to ah. So, hindi na sila titingin dito sa ano nila, kabig na, kahit kotse. Kahit kotse. Ako, mas marami akong na-encounter na kotse na ganun.
Welcome to The Right Show on Record, Mr. JB Suarez. Good evening, JB. Welcome to The Right Show on Record.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for making time. No,
Of course.
Ang daming beses na kitang napapanood. Kaya sabi ko, nagka-interest ako sa advocacy mo. Ang advocacy niya is Anti-Kamote advocacy. And actually, nagka-interest ako from bakit gano'n ang napili mo at anong ibig sabihin ng anti-kamote? Di ba? Yun ang kailangan nating ipaintindi sa ating mga kabayan. Kasi I was browsing through your page. Ang daming comments pati mga celebrities. So most of the comments na nakalagay doon ay sabi nila ikaw daw yung parang channel. Ikaw yung nag-relay ng ano nila. So interesting because alam naman natin na ang traffic, ang mga motorista, malaking bagay yan sa pang-araw-araw na buhay ng mga Pilipino because almost majority of the Filipinos, especially here in the National Capital Region or Metro Manila, ay nagko-commute. No? Nadadaan sa mga nakaka-encounter ng mga motorista, ng traffic. So malaking bagay yan. Una, itatanong ko muna sa'yo, no? JB, ano ba ang background mo? Bakit ito rin ang napili mo? At sino ba si JB Suarez?
Okay.
At bakit siya tinawag na leader ng Anti-Kamote Gang?
Okay. So, yeah. I'll just dive straight into yung advocacy and Anti-Kamote Gang in terms of the background, no? So, I started learning to drive when I was 18. Tinuruan ako ng tatay ko and ng brother ko. And they're very, they played a huge role in yung mindset ko when it came to driving.
Yes.
Pero for the most part, I never really fully intended na nung gumawa ako ng content, I keep saying na I never really fully intended to coin myself as the leader of the Anti-Kamote Gang. Ang gusto ko lang talagang unang atakihin was pet peeves lang. Parang yung mga, hindi naman siya violation, pero when you're on the road, tas nakakasabay mo yung mga ganong klase ng tao, yun lang talaga yung una kong gustong puntirihin. Until such time na yung pet peeves, sabi ko, hindi na lang pala pet peeve to, delikado na talaga siya.
Yes.
It causes physical harm, damage to property, yung mga ganon. And looking back at it, I mentioned my father, because my father used to be a director of a public safety department. So yung background ko in terms of public safety, not just in terms of traffic, ganyan, yung barangay watch, mga ganun, nakikita ko yun. And my father, I remember growing up, he wasn't the typical 9 to 5 guy He was the 7 to 9 guy. Kasi hawak nila yung traffic hawak nila yung public safety. My dad, he wouldn't go home unless, di ba, yung major, what do you call this, intersections ng Makati, wala ng traffic. That's when they can call it a day. Di ba? Ang pagkakaiba lang ng 8 to 5 ng tatay ko sa 5 to 9 niya was yung 8 to 5 niya, naka-office barong siya. Yung 5 to 9 niya, nakasando na lang siya. Tapos ito na yung radyo niya. Nakaharap siya dun sa map ng Makati. Tapos nagraradyo, eto, traffic ba dyan? That was my dad's job.
Sa MAPSA, tama di ba?
Sa MAPSA, correct.
MAPSA, yeah.
So,
Hi, Hi, Mayor Nancy. Kaibigan natin si Mayor Nancy.
So, ayun, ganun yung naging background. And I saw how passionate my father was about it. My father, nakuha ko yung habit din niya na hindi nyo malalaman na sa loob ng kotse, nagagalit na talaga yan. Bawal kami mag-music Pag nagmo-music, bawal na magkwentuhan. Pag nagkwentuhan, bawal na mag-music kasi nade-disrupt mo yung focus ng driver. 'Di ba? Tapos yung tatay ko, pag nakakita siya ng mga pet peeve niya, gagalit yun sa loob lang. Before magkaroon ng term na kamote, ang term niya kuneho, chongo, ganyan. Pero pag baba na ng sasakyan, boss, kamusta? Oy, ganda nga. O, kamusta? Kumain ka na? O, kain tayo mamaya. Ganun siya klase ng tao. And I would say, namimi ko yun. Ganun din akong klaseng tao.
So that inspired you.
That inspired me
to launch the Anti-Kamote.
To dive in deeper.
Okay.
Kasi ganun yung tatay ko. He didn't just work. He understood na yung public safety and being in a position to be accountable for the public safety, it holds bigger ground. Diba? Kaya yung naging realization ko lately na this Anti-Kamote thing, this is more than a content creator thing. This is more than an influencer thing.
Good.
Diba? It's a form of higher calling nga. Ever since I was invited to a TV show, sabi ko, as a news channel siya. I was invited to a news channel. Pagkatapos nun, sabi ko, grabe, hindi na lang basta na to. I'm not just talking about pet peeves. I'm not just talking about rules, regulations, and by the week, the numbers are growing and following. Sabi ko, it would be such a waste in platform if I don't get to push for bigger pictures like the Anti-Kamote law. Diba? If I don't get to push these, government officials na bali wala tong pagsisigaw ko kung walang magra-rally behind me. So the next step for me is, okay, naiintindihan na ng tao na ano yung mali, ano yung what's being abused, what's being exploited. Diba? Now it's time for more people to jump in on it. Kaya, when you mentioned earlier, may mga artista, may mga bigger influencers than me who are very happy to see my content and then they say na, JB, you're my spirit animal. You are my conscience. You are my intrusive thoughts. Ganito, ganyan. Kasi these are hard pills to swallow. These are hard truths na I guess when you're PR trained and you have so much things to lose. Diba? They couldn't say it. Pero ako kasi, sinimulan ko na ganun eh.
Correct.
And wala eh.
Pero ikaw, JB, meron kang personal experience mismo sa mga kamote. Can you, ano yun? Exciting example.
Bro, it's an everyday thing. It's a daily battle. Kaya nga pag tinatanong ako ng mga tao, ba't ka ba galit? Ba't lagi kang galit? At mababalik ko sa inyo, bakit hindi? Bakit di ako magagalit?
Correct.
Diba? Isipin mo nakakotse na ako Pag nakakotse ka, isipin mo yung potential damage to your car. Na kahit konting gas-gas, magkano pa pintura ulit? 5,000 per panel. So imagine if I was a motorcycle rider, tapos yung kotse, bigla akong kinabigan ng ganun, I would be equally mad. Kasi, mas vulnerable eh. Diba? Pag hindi mo nga ako kailangan mabangga, pag nakamotor ako, kailangan ko lang magulat. Simple lang na ako.
Correct.
Diba? So, bakit hindi ako magagalit? Why couldn't I call out two-wheel drivers the same way I'm calling out four-wheel drivers? The same way I'm calling out 6, 8, 10, 12-wheeler drivers regardless of how many wheels. I'm telling you guys. As long as kamote ka, if you're a danger to society, if you're a menace to society, you're under my radar and talagang may maririnig ka sa akin.
Was there a specific incident that convinced you this was a cause worth dedicating your time and energy to?
Again, I said it's a daily battle. So there's not really a single pinpoint moment.
Only about you.
It's that it happens every day. Na parang, sino bang hindi nagmamadali? Sino bang hindi pagod? Sinong hindi gutom? Sinong hindi inaantok? Sinong hindi kumakayod para sa pamilya nila? Di ba? You take away all those reasons na sinasabi ng typical motorist, why they drive the way that they drive. Di ba? Then, ano pa? Ba't pa tayo nagkakagulo dito? Di ba? Hindi dapat, let's pay our minds to each other. Kasi tayo na lang to eh. Tayo na lang to. Di ba? And, you know, I understand when people say na, JB, but you're only speaking from etong level lang. What you have to understand is that it's a systemic problem. It is a systemic problem. I acknowledge that it is a systemic problem. It is a transportation problem. Kaya nga mas napipikon ako eh. Kasi tayo na lang to, pare.
Correct.
Tayo na lang magkakampi dito tapos magbubulastugan pa tayo.
Correct.
Kaya mas nakakagalit siya.
Nabanggit mo kanina na parami yung nag-follow, you're following, no? Did you ever imagine that you will reach that level of influence?
No. To be honest, no. If you would ask me nga, how am I handling it? I'd ask you, handle what? Kasi I don't see it as anything eh. Diba? I mean, badly put the way I said it, but ang gusto ko lang sabihin, and then what I tell my followers also, is that na-appreciate ko yung suporta. I'm very happy their support. I'm very happy there's traction. I'm very happy that people find it relevant because it is. Public safety is relevant. Road safety is relevant and should always be relevant. Virality, I don't care about virality if hindi siya tinatatak sa kokote ng nakikinig. You find it funny, that's good. Kasi if you find it funny, that means you can remember. And if you remember it, diba, take a step back. Ano ulit yung sinasabi ko, bakit siya nakakatawa? Because it actually happens. And it's funny until it happens to you. Diba? So, ba't mo papapabutin dun? Diba? So, you know, again, hindi ko inasahan na it would blow up and it would blow up this fast. But one thing's for sure, the reason why it's blowing up so fast is because it is relevant. It is because we care about it. If you work, diba? Even if you go to school, which is why kahit nga, I understand, even some kids, they follow me. Diba? Kasi, tumatawid din sila eh. On the school zones. Diba? Their parents take them to school. If you're privileged. If you're not privileged, si Mang Benny, ihatid ka niya sa tricycle. And nakikita mo yung mga ganun. Nagji-jeep ka. Diba? It's relatable to everybody eh.
Correct.
So, you know, again, I'm just using the voice here.
Okay.
I'm just using my personality din na as someone na parang ka kasi ako, JV, as a person. You know, if I tell you, I don't like you, I don't like you. Or, for example, ayoko lang sabihin sa'yo na I don't like you, hindi ko sasabihin sa'yo. Pero ako na in myself, didistansya na lang ako.
Iwas ka.
Diba? Kasi I'm very frank eh.
Yeah.
I would say na totoo kong tao. And I think that's what, you know, my closest circle likes about me as well. And that's why I feel like yun yung bentahe ko to the people who like me.
Your
because I'm frank. I'm authentic.
Yeah.
But that at the same time, that's the reason why some people hate me. I'm too frank. It's too painful what you're trying to say. Mali naman talaga yan eh. But can you be a little bit more patient? Too much.
Yes.
Already too much patience.
So you are also receiving mixed reactions.
Yes, a lot.
So not only support but also bashing.
Yes.
Talaga?
Yes, a lot of bashing. May mga nagpa-private message ka sa akin, minumura ako eh.
Talaga?
Calling me all kinds of words. But if you know what, if they engage in conversation with me, and I ask them, pare, anong mali sa ginagawa ko? Is there anything wrong with what I'm saying? Is there anything... Sure, maybe how I said it, hindi mo gusto. Kasi maybe sarcastic, maybe passive-aggressive, di ba? O minsan, may isang video ako, sabi ko, sayang di siya nahagip. Sayang di na siya sumemplang. Sayang di siya sumalpok.
Marami
diba?
galit dun.
Wala masyado nag-react. Actually, mas madami nagsabi na, oo nga, sayang. O di ba? In a way, di ba? Yung moral compass mo, you would say na wag ganun. Di ba? Wag ganun. Pero pare, hindi kasi sila matututo eh.
Correct.
Pag di na-disgrasya, ba't ganun? Pag hindi na-disgrasya, hindi matututo. You know, I go around some TikTok videos, yung mga ibang nagmomotor, di ba? Sabihin nila, nagmomotor na naman. Panoorin nyo na lang yung explainer video ko kung bakit mas marami akong kinakanang nakamotor. But para lang din for the sake of the podcast, para di sila mahirapan, numerically speaking, mag-fact check kayo, in terms of registered vehicles, 60% are motorcycles. So pag nagbilangan pa lang tayo dito, kahit sabihin mo lahat ng nakasasakyan kamote, lahat ng 40% kamote, mas marami pa rin kayo eh.
Motor.
Kung 40% dun sa 60%, no, or 60% nung, pinahirapan na yung math no? Sabihin mo na dun sa 60, di ba? Yung 40% nun, puro kamote, mas marami pa rin kayo, boss eh.
Correct.
And kung gagawin ko sa content ko, for iwa 1:1 ko, ano yun? Mapapagod lang ako nun. Yun yung mas marami eh. Di dun natin yung tumpukin natin.
Mas
and
marami,
yung mas vulnerable
sa observation mo, mas marami ang mga two-wheel, yung mga motor.
Sa observation
ang mga
ko,
violators.
and based on the numbers.
Ang kamote pala.
Kasi pag sinabi kong based on observation, pwede na sabihin sa akin, paano yung mga hindi mo nakikita? So ngayon, sabihin ko sa inyo na then look at the numbers. Look at LTO's numbers. Look at MMDA's numbers.
Yeah.
It's not being objective. It's not being subjective anymore. The numbers are there eh. Kayo pinakamarami in terms of accidents.
Kahit sa mga balita, di ba?
Yes!
Sino madalas na
in terms of accidents, in terms of fatalities, kayo marami eh.
Correct.
Di ba? O sabihin mo pare, sabihin nila, pero kotse pinakamarami in terms of accident. Pare, pag nagbeso-beso yung kotse natin, nag-file tayo ng report, accident na yun. Naniniwala ka? Kasi accident yun eh.
Yeah.
Nakasagi ako ng nakabike. Yung bike sumalbok sa akin, nagasgasan ako. Accident na yun eh. Di ba? The same way na pagka nagkagikitan yung kotse tsaka motor, accident na yun. Pero pag sinabi natin fatalities, mas marami motor. And pag sinabi natin fatalities, that means someone died. Don't you care about their lives? Bakit hindi ako magagalit? Bakit kailangan nyo hintayin na kayo yung pumunta dun sa fatality side? Diba? Wag na. Diba? Let's nip it in the bud.
Anong madalas na dahilan bakit mas maraming motor ang na-aksidente? Ang, let's say, kamote rin.
Okay. Number 1 is access. It's so easy to access a motorcycle. Si foreman, gipit, may motor, walang papel, benta ko na sa'yo. Hulugan mo na lang. So bakit? Pag may mga checkpoint, nakikita mo na agad eh. Sino mga hindi lulusot doon sa checkpoint? Mga kamote agad yun. Kasi ba't natatakot ka lumusot sa checkpoint?
Correct.
Diba? Although, sige, nagigets ko yung sentiment nung iba. Na baka yung ibang enforcer nagpa-power trip daw, kahit na kompleto papel mo, hanapan ka ng mali, so on so forth. Pero for the most part, yung iba, may mali naman talaga sa inyo, kaya ayaw nyo nagtagusin yung yung checkpoint eh. But again, let's talk about access. When people are given access, too much access, and easy access, they don't feel like they have anything to lose eh. Diba? Luma yung motor, okay lang, luma lang yung motor eh. O kaya, click lang naman eh. O kaya, NMAX lang naman eh. O kaya, bigay lang naman eh. You know, they don't feel like they earned it eh. They don't feel like pinaghirapan nila.
So it's more on the access of acquiring a motorcycle.
Yeah, that's
than the, what do you call this? Ano doon, yung lesson or discipline?
Kasi bro, isipin mo, it goes in every aspect of life. Easy to get, easy to forget. Diba? Kasi madali lang, hindi mo pinaghirapan. There's nothing remarkable about it. So madali mo lang siyang i-take for granted. Diba? That's the term. When you talk about access, pag madali siya, you take it for granted.
Correct.
Which why yung mga ibang kamote na nagagawaan, ba't yung mga big bike di nyo kinakana? Ba't yung mga naka-supercars di nyo kinakana? Diba? Kung magparamihan kayo ng mga video, and on an everyday basis, how often do you see a supercar or a big bike get into a road accident? Very rare. Why? Because they understand what it takes to have that vehicle. You have a business, you work for it, whatever, I don't care. But you understand na pag may kotse ka ganyan, alagaan mo yan. The same way pag sa motor. Pero pag daily driver na motor, you don't see that from the people eh. Diba? So that's for access. Number 2 is because they see driving as a privilege more than a responsibility.
Yeah.
Diba? And they take that for granted. 'Di ba? Ang dali makakuha ng lisensya. 'Di ba? Sa dami ng fixer, ang dali makakuha ng lisensya kahit di ka magka-fixer. In a way, parang ang dali in some countries, they take years.
Yeah.
They take the driver's license exam as if it's a board exam. They hold parties kapag pumasa ka ng driver's license. Can you imagine that? Dito, pag may driver's license, so what? So what?
Yeah.
Diba?
Aside sa driver's license, plaka.
Exactly.
In China, JB, you know what? Nag-draw lots yung plaka.
Talaga?
You cannot just buy a car there anytime. Kasi sobrang dami ng population nila doon. Unless you're gonna buy an EV car. Mas may incentive doon, mabilis. But if you're going to buy an ordinary or traditional car, draw lots yun. Hindi ka pwedeng bumili agad. Pila. So, same with your sentiment.
Exactly, di ba? So, when you're given, again, access na naman, babalik pa rin sa access yun, andali eh. Di ba? Number 3, when you talk about enforcement, when do you say, hindi kita pwede pagbigyan eh? Hindi talaga eh. Kahit kaya ang sinasabi nila sa akin, dapat ikaw yung next Gabgo. Ikaw yung ganun. Hindi ko kaya.
What's Gabgo?
Gabriel Go.
The MMDA, enforcer.
Si Sir Gabriel Go. Diba? When they tell me, you should be the next Gabriel Go, hindi ko kaya. Bakit? Because I can't be like Gabriel Go and look at some people in the eye and tell them na, oo nga, naiintindihan ko naman eh. Mahirap yan, pero mali ka kasi. You see his patience, pag nag-operations nila, would you say mahaba pasensya ko? Sa lahat ng video ko, sumisigaw ako eh. Di ba? Di ba? Medyo bugnutin talaga ako. I would say mahaba talaga yung pasensya ko, pero yung awa ko din, baka hindi ko ma-enforce yung law the same way. And I think that's what's wrong with Filipinos.
We will deep dive on the enforcement later. No?
Sure.
So, I think, tama ka, no? MMDA and LTO should get you as an ambassador.
I get that a lot.
I mean, as someone na magtutulong for the educational campaign or information campaign. No? Now, let's talk about first the kamote. Why is it kamote? Why people call it kamote? Ang sarap-sarap ng kamote, bakit natin tinatawag na kamote itong na to? Let's understand first the kamote culture.
So, there's this term, this Filipino term na tinatawag natin na nangangamote. 'Di ba? O pag may exam, hindi ka makasagot, nangangamote ka na naman. Engot ka na naman. Hindi ka na naman nakapag-isip. 'Di ba? 'Di ba parang ulaga ka na naman. Nangangamote ka. So ano tawag mo ngayon sa tao nangangamote? Kamote. 'Di ba? And initially, if you look at it from the Urban Dictionary, stereotype siya into two-wheelers.
What?
'Di ba? Pag sinabi mong kamote, motor agad. Pero ako, no. Even four-wheel drivers, may kamote. Bus drivers, ang daming kamote. Truck drivers, ang daming kamote. Tricycle, taxi, lahat yan. Because the way I'm describing it now, or the way I define it now, kamote is a mindset, it's a lifestyle, it's a daily decision to choose to do wrong, 'di ba? Kasi yun yung convenience sa iyo. 'Di ba? Wala kang pakialam sa iba sa kalsada. And kung ganun ka, para sa akin, kamote ka. 'Di ba? Ba't ayaw mo ma-traffic? Ba't ayaw mo maipit?
In your view, JB, is kamote culture a traffic issue or a cultural issue?
It's a cultural issue. That's
okay.
Rooted in the traffic issue, that's again rooted in the transportation issue. You see this? Kasi kita mo lumalabas yung pagiging biz dev and marketing ko. Nag-root cause analysis tayo bigla. Diba? So, sige, let's start from there. Diba? You said, is it a cultural issue? Diba? It's a cultural issue because people have gotten so used to it. Diba? May nag-challenge sa akin, sabi niya, kaya matapang ka, kaya nagsisigaw ka eh. Kasi hindi mo yan kaya gawin sa labas. Hindi ko talaga gagawin sa labas yan. Kasi that's road rage. 'Di ba? And may batas na tayo na anti-road rage. 'Di ba? And if I do that, what benefit will that do for me? If I'm a busy man. 'Di ba? If I'm trying to get home as well. If gutom na rin ako at gusto ko magpahinga.
Correct.
'Di ba? Pag nakipag-away ako sa iyo, not only am I wasting my time, but the people na nakapila sa atin dito sa traffic. But again, Doon pumapasok yung pag-abuso ng Pilipino, doon sa kasabihan na wag mo nang ipilit yung karapatan mo. Mas piliin mo nang maging mabuti, mabait, kaysa maging tama. Kaya ngayon, yung mga kamote, mas pinili nila maging abusado.
Correct.
Hindi naman ako niyan eh. 'Di ba? Hindi naman niya pipilit karapatan niya eh. busy naman niya, mas maraming importante yan eh.
Nagmamadali na.
So pag ngayon, pag nakahanap sila ng katapat nila na ayaw silang pag-counterflowin,
Correct.
ang tingin nila ngayon, salbahe yung humarang. Bakit? Sino bang nasa mali? 'Di ba? And they've gotten so used to that and they abuse it. And then when there's abuse of it, that's when it becomes a cultural problem.
Okay.
But bakit ganun? It's because of the traffic problem. 'Di ba? It's because of the traffic problem. I came to a DPWH event before. Umamin sila doon. Sabi niya, ang hirap ng traffic dito sa Pilipinas. Why? Build ng kalsada pero dami yung sasakyan. Dami yung mga nakamotor. Diba? If you check this out please fact check this na lang if meron kayong ganun sa ano. But in 2024, would you believe that there was a total of 1.2 million motorcycles sold?
In Metro Manila alone? Or
I think national siya eh.
Oh.
Diba? But if you think about it, 1.2 million motorcycles sold in a year, pare. So can you imagine that impact sa kalsada?
Yes.
Nagdagan ng 1.2 million? Okay, sabihin mo na hindi. Yung iba, pangatlong motor na, it doesn't matter eh. That's another vehicle that's gonna use the road. That's another vehicle that's gonna cause traffic. Diba? And why is there traffic? Because nobody wants to use public transportation. Why don't they want to use public transportation? Lagi tumitirik yung MRT, pare.
We have an inefficient.
Inefficient siya eh. Ang bagal. 'Di ba? Yung pila, can you imagine kung may pasok? Can you imagine kung gaano kanapahiya yung isang government official when he said na agahan nyo na lang pumasok? And then, he tried it. And can you believe that? Pare, na-late siya. So, paano mo ngayon sasabihin sa mukha ng Pinoy na agahan mo lang to your 8 a.m. shift? How early does a Filipino have to wake up to get to an 8 a.m. job? Imagine, pag mag-commute sila, pare, 4 a.m. Iba 3 a.m. Yeah. Tapos makakauwi sila ng 10. Maliligo pa yan. Kakain pa yan. Kung pamilyado yan, syempre, yung anak niya gusto niya pa makita. Yung asawa niya, 'di ba? Ano na lang yung buhay na matitira sa kanya. 'Di ba? So yung iba they opt to what? Buy the motorcycle, and the motorcycle causes traffic again, and then babalikan na naman doon. You know, it's a limbo, pare, umiikot siya, 'di ba?
Correct. It's a cycle. Parang tama. Cultural nga talaga.
'Di ba? So again, when people tell me na JB, just stick to the essential skills. Just stick to the Anti-Kamote mandments. Just stick to the funny parts, the sarcasm, ganito, ganyan. And try not to talk about politics and government. I can't. Kasi, it all boils down to that. Babalik at babalik siya dun.
Everything is a political
yes,
talaga.
And bakit mo ako aawitin, boss? Bakit mo ako aawatin? I'm doing this for you. Diba ako na nga yung bosses mo eh. Let me be the one to shout. Let me be the one to be angry so you don't have to be.
Correct. Question, JB. Marami tayong mga kilalang tao na mabait, pero pagdating sa kalsada, nagiging aggressive, nagiging pag-road rage, nagbabago, nagtatransform. What do you think is... bakit may mga ganon na alam mo yun, nagkakaroon ng transformation bigla? What?
There's two sides of it. I think there's two sides of it. Number one, when you're very protective of the people you love and they're inside that vehicle, or angkas mo sila. So on a personal level, correct. So maintindihan mo kung bakit pag ginit-git mo siya,
magalit ka talaga.
Na bababaan ka agad, nang bumurahan na agad. 'Di ba? Tingnan mo yung bang nagro-road rage, 'di ba? Pansin mo. Ba't bigyan mo nagagalit? Kasama ko yung asawa ko eh. Kasama ko yung anak ko. Inano mo ko, ganito, ganyan. So in a way, 'di ba? Again, since Pinoy tayo, we're compassionate, we're patient, we're kind. You try to understand, pare nga naman. Kasama niyo yung ganito, ganyan eh. And then the rest, just plain old Plain and simple. Salbahe lang talaga sila as a person. And I think it boils down to their egos. 'Di ba? Hindi sila confident sa sarili nila eh. 'Di ba? For whatever reason, whether engot sila mentally, hindi sila makalamang sa pag-iisip, 'di ba? Ridicule natin sila. Kayo mga kamote kayo, kayo mga engot kayo, 'di ba? Dahil hindi kayo makabawi sa pag-iisip nyo, magkakamote na lang ako. Bad tripping ko na lang kayo. Kasi doon nila nafe-feel na parang nile-level ko yung playing field. So pag hindi ka kamote, tas nagkamotehan kayo, edi parang level na kayo ngayon. Kaya sinasabi natin, huwag ka na mag-road rage. Kasi what makes you any different than that person?
Correct.
Wala na. 'Di ba? And then yung iba, they just do it for the heck of it. Salbahe lang sila as a person. No confidence problem, no whatever. It's plain and simple.
Bully lang.
Salbahe lang sila. Bully lang sila. And, you know, yun yung mas nakakapikon. 'Di ba? Kasi bakit? Pero sipin mo, babalik ka pa rin doon. Eh. Bakit? Well, siguro. Sipin mo, hindi, gusto ko lang. Hindi. O, 'di ba? Ego problem yan.
Yeah, correct. What are the most dangerous driving habits na nakita mo sa kalsada natin? Can you give an example? Yung mga pinaka-dangerous. Anong eksena?
Pinaka-dangerous? Siyempre, yung mga biglang kabig.
Yung
'di ba? Na mga oportunista na parang, uy, maluwag to ah. So, hindi na sila titingin dito sa ano nila. Kabig na. Kahit kotse. Kahit kotse. Ako, mas marami akong na-encounter na kotse na ganun. Pagdating sa mga motor, eto, kanina lang. Bago ako pumunta dito. Diba, ang hilig ng mga motor, nasa rightmost sila, tapos dediretso pala sila. Eh, yung dalawang linya, pares yun pa kanan. Oh. Tapos sa akin siya galit.
Correct. Nangyari din sa akin yun.
Eh, ba't ka ba nandun? Diba? Ganun. Delikado yun. Diba? And, ano pa ba? Yung mga nakamotor, na ang hilig nila na nandun sila sa labas pa nun linya. 'Di ba? Para makasingit sila. Eh may manggagaling dito sa kabilang side. Pagkaliko niya, pag hindi ka nakita niyan, nakatingin siya dun sa blind side niya, pwede kang salpukin dun eh. Beating the red light. O yun na lang pinakamadali para hindi na kailangan i-imagine ng mga listeners natin na hindi nakikita yung actions ko. Beating the red light.
Pinaka-dangerous.
What do you have to beat the red light for? Especially kung madaling araw. 'Di ba? Doon nakukuha na malalayo sa mga video eh. 'Di ba? Pula na yung ilaw.
Correct.
Binanata mo pa, o di ngayon sinalpok ka ng truck. O putol yung kamay niya. That's a true story.
Yeah.
Ang nangyari yan saan? Ayala Avenue corner, Buendia. Look it up. And that's a big bike. Oh, baka sabihin na naman ng mga puro lower CC yung mga kinakana ko. That's a big bike. Nag-beating the red light siya. As in lahat, nakatigil na. Dinerecho niya, may nag-go truck, bang! Putol kamay niya. Oh. Ilang storya pag ganun kailangan natin pag-usapan.
Araw-araw. May
Bago natin itigil yung kamote culture na yan.
Alam mo, may mga observation na yung mga Pilipino sumusunod sa traffic sa ibang bansa. Di ba? Pero pag dito,
you know why?
Hindi, bakit, boss?
You know why?
Ano mo dyan?
Because they don't respect it. What do you notice about Filipinos in terms of their voting appetite? In terms of the way they live their lives?
Walang disiplina.
Hindi sila nagbabase ng respeto based on just virtue. Tama o mali. Kailangan may fear. Bakit ni sila lumalabag sa ibang bansa? Takot sila eh. Oh, pag naano ka dyan, deport kita. Oh, wala ka na. Wala ka ng lisensya. 'Di ba? Dayo ka na lang dito. Kahit sabihin mong naging citizen ka, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Yung mga hassle ng pag nahuli sila, takot sila. Eh dito pa rin, broad daylight. Mga kamote, walang takot eh. Walang takot, you know why? Because minsan, even the people in the traffic enforcement, sila yung pasaway.
Correct.
Diba? Even the people na ina-expect mo na dapat sumusunod, sila yung pasaway. And they lose respect for that. They lose fear for that. And when they lose respect and fear, sila na yung sunod. And that's why you see videos na parang ibang tao sinasagot-sagot yung enforcer, babanggain yung enforcer, sasagasaan yung enforcer. Pero di sila nag-iisip. Hindi na naisip na, but this enforcer is different from the one na lumalabag. ganun mo na lang siya kailangan tignan eh. If you're mature enough, ganun na lang siya dapat tignan eh. But that's a different person.
No? Na-stereotype
But yes, again,
yung mababang
nasi-stereotype
tingin
sila.
sa enforcement. So dyan papasok yung tanong ko, do we have a discipline problem or an enforcement problem?
We have both. We have both. The discipline problem is rooted in the enforcement problem again. If we were so strict about it, you don't have to worry about discipline kasi nga, matatakot na sila eh. Ay, lagi may nanguhuli dyan. Lagi may nangkakalamp dyan. 'Di ba? Tingnan mo. Pag nag-operations yung MMDA,
Yes.
tadtarin nila yung isang buong kaabaan ng whatever avenue for 1 week. Behave yan. Eh syempre pare, Metro Manila hawak yan. Hindi naman pwedeng nandun lang sila sa may QC.
Common.
Kailangan pupunta rin sila ng Caloocan.
Correct.
Pupunta rin sila ng kung saan. Ang pagbalik na naman nila doon, yung mga pinaghuhuli nila, andun na naman. Bakit? 'Di ba? So kailangan ba ang Pilipino laging binabantayan? Lagi ano bang kailangan mangyari? It's a discipline problem. Pero at the same time, you know, I live in in Makati and sometimes in BGC. And sa BGC, for example, pare may mga signage na nga dun eh. Stop, give way for pedestrians.
Yeah.
Para dun sa mga unsignaled na pedestrian lane. Violators will be fined. Will be apprehended.
Yeah.
Eh hindi na nakikita. Wala na ba nanguhuli?
Lusot lang.
Sinabi mo na nga i-apprehend mo eh. Sino huli dyan? Kami-kami na lang. Di ba? Wala naman nakatokay. Wala na naman CCTV. O kung may CCTV, o paano mo apprehend yan? Paano niya malalaman kung may ticket siya? Di ba? So, nanakot ka lang. Tas wala. And again, the ridiculous part, minsan yung mismong enforcers na sa BGC, sila yung hindi nagpapatawid. Can you believe that? Paano ngayon susunod ang Pilipino? Kung mismo yung nag-e-enforce, may discipline problem. O, ang laki ng problema natin.
Totoo.
Ang laki ng problema natin, James. Paano to?
Correct.
Diba?
Correct. Critics often say that corruption and special treatment weaken accountability.
Yes.
Yeah, weaken ang tinatawag na enforcement, no? Kasi may nagwawangwang. May may mga
Pare, di ko pinagbibigyan yung mga yan.
yung mga ano yung nauna sa wangwang? Yung
Mga HPG.
HPG,
na
yung may mga ilaw-ilaw, yung mga gano'n,
Mga
diba?
convoy, ganyan.
So
Di ko pinagbibigyan.
do you believe that this contributes to
Yes.
poor road discipline?
Yes. Kasi pare, hindi nila danas eh. Naintindihan nyo yun? Hindi nila danas. Hindi naman gano'n kasama yung traffic. Naka-convoy ka eh. Paano ka matatraffic? Pumapasok kayo sa bus lane. Paano mo sasabihin na yun? Hindi naman gano'n ka-traffic.
Correct.
Diba? Nagpa-power trip ka eh. Ina-abuse mo eh. Ngayon, can you imagine if everybody as in everybody, kung hindi ka naman, if it's not a medical emergency,
Yes.
if you're not somebody na
Hindi police
constantly in threat yung buhay mo,
Yeah, oo.
danasin mo yung traffic. 'Di ba? Even people in Congress, I think dapat anuhin nila eh. Experienceahin nila yung traffic. Why? So they can do something about it.
Yeah.
Because hangga't hindi mo nadadanasan yung traffic na nadadanasan ng mga motorista, 'di ba? Hindi mo maintindihan. Hindi mo maintindihan that this transportation problem, yung hindi natin matapos-tapos sa mga projects because nag-aagawan ko kayo kung sinong magte-take ng credit for who started, who did it, and then who finished it. 'Di ba?
Hindi lang yan. Kung sino yung pinakamalaki magbigay ng komisyon.
Yun ang that's for another discussion, 'di ba?
That's why maraming nadidelay na project.
But 'di ba? Ayun oh. 'Di ba hindi nila dinadanas? And the worst part is this. Syempre sabihin nila, ba't ako titikitan mo? Yan driver ko. O sige na, magpa-ticket ka na. Tapos anong gagawin nila behind closed doors? Pare, ano yung driver ko? Anuhin mo na lang ha.
Ayusin mo na lang. Diba? Alam mo
So kahit yung mga drivers nila, hindi din na disiplina. Wala.
That ayusan system really alaking problema sa sistema, sa kultura ng korupsyon sa atin. Yung hindi lang to government kahit saan ka magpunta, may mga pakiayos na lang si ganito, pakibigyan. For me naging ano siya kahit maliit lang tingnan. Nagkaroon siya ng cultural effect. That's why nagkaroon ng kamote. Naayos ng mga kamote, yung enforcers. Di ba? So, okay. Now, sabi nila, kung ano daw yung mga nangyayari sa kalsada, reflection yan kung ano yung lipunan natin. Kung ano yung Philippine society in general. So, when you observe how Filipinos behave in traffic, what does it tell you about our culture and values as a country?
For some people, or for a nation that makes hospitality such a star-spangled, attribute, di ba? For a Filipino, wala tayong ganun for ourselves. Di ba? Pag mga dayuhan, pag mga bisita, pagka ganito, ganyan, ang bait-bait natin. Pero pagdating sa isa't isa, wala na tayong compassion eh.
Correct.
Nakakalimutan natin yung bigger picture. Why we're doing this. 'Di ba? Why we need to be courteous on the road. 'Di ba? Suddenly bigla natin nakakalimutan na mo na baka may pamilya 'yan. Or lahat naman tayo may pamilya. So hindi na ako magkakamote. Hindi ko na ipipilit tong pagsingit ko rito. Hindi na ako swerving, hindi ko na gagawin yung reckless driving na ganito. Kasi lahat 'yan may pamilya. 'Di ba? Ang problema kasi sa atin, 'di ba, ang hilig natin kunin yung mga bagay in the wrong context. Isipin mo, ganito na lang, yung quote na lang na yun. Isipin mo may pamilya yan. You take it out of the wrong context, it becomes again another source of abuse. So pag yung mga, when we're talking about TNVS drivers, when they become reckless, whether it's two-wheel or four-wheel, 'di ba? Ano sasabihin mo? May pamilya 'yan. Kailangan niya ng marami, kailangan niya ng maraming biyahe, kailangan niya maraming delivery. Tanong ko sa iyo ngayon, no? Pag nakadisgrasya siya, yung nilarga niya o pinasada niya ng isang buong araw, 'di ba? Nakabangga ka ng tao, hindi mo pinatawid. Di naubos rin yung pang-uwi mo sa pamilya mo. At syempre, paano yun? Wala bang pamilya yung binangga mo? Diba? So, kapag ito yung call out ko sa mga kamote, tsaka sa mga nagcha-challenge sa akin, sa comments ko on my content. Diba? If you're gonna call me out virtue for virtue, dapat i-apply mo yan sa sarili mo. You don't get to pull that card kapag convenient lang siya sa'yo. Diba? Dapat, it goes for all. Diba? Hindi pwedeng gagamitin mo lang pagka, sa'yo.
Pabor.
Pagka-pabor sa'yo.
JB, let's talk about, balikan lang natin yung motorcycle, the two-wheel versus the four-wheel tension. Kasi meron naman talagang, kumbaga, stereotypes, no? So first, let's talk about bakit tingin mo may ganong division? Bakit nag-i-exist yung issue na ganito, two-wheel versus four-wheel?
Kasi ang mga Pilipino, mahilig sa telenovela. 'Di ba? Mahilig sa kawawa, mahilig sa underdogs, mahilig sa ganito. So, they try to make it a class war.
Oh, yeah,
diba?
Correct. You're correct.
Na parang ginagawa nilang, kaya nyo kami ginaganyan kasi maliit lang kami. Ganito, ganyan.
Is that concern justified? Yung mga concern nila na minority kami, yung maliliit kami.
Because it's not the question of anong class ka. Ang pinag-uusapan natin when it comes to road safety, was that unsafe or safe? Right. Was it lawful or unlawful? Yes or no? Saan natin pinag-usapan doon yung sahod? Saan natin pinag-usapan doon kung ano yung dinadrive mo? 'Di ba? And kapag reckless ka. So don't try to, stop making that narrative na two wheels versus four wheels. Parehas tayo motorista Anong pinagkaiba ng lisensya ng isang nagmomotor sa kotse? Parehas non-pro yun Yung restrictions ng pinagkaiba.
Correct.
So, where's the divide? There's no divide.
You're all equal.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there's no divide. There shouldn't be a divide. But we try to make it like that. Why? Because syempre, sabihin nila, syempre, ito lang yung afford namin. Ganito, ganyan. Diba? Sinasamahan ng drama, JV.
Correct.
Kasi nga, addict tayo sa telenovela. Pero take away the
And I think it also, the the culture ng mga Pilipino ng pagiging emotional. Nakaka-apekto rin sa
Tsaka
enforcement.
kasi yung madali eh. 'Di ba? Yun yung madali. For people to reason with you, pag hindi mo sila kayang i-tap into intellectually,
Correct.
you try to reach into them emotionally.
Yes.
Maawa ka naman. Di ba wala ka bang puso? Hindi mo ba talaga kaya pagpasensyahan? Di ba? Paano ko pagpapasensyahan? Binangga mo yung anak ko na tumatawid sa pedestrian lane. Kita mo na yung pedestrian lane.
Yeah.
Hindi ka nga dapat nag-overtake dun kasi double solid yun eh. Ba't kita pagpapasensyahan? Oh.
Correct.
Ang nagreklamo yung naka 4 wheels kasi siya yung may dashcam.
Ikaw, from your perspective, ano naman yung tingin mong biggest misconceptions of a rider or a motorist about the riders or the motorist?
What do you mean by that?
Anong mga biggest misconception? Anong mga are they?
Like halimbawa anong misconception ng common tao sa nagmamotor?
Yes.
Lahat kamote. Hindi totoo yun. Kasi sumasakay ako ng mga ng MC taxi. No? And ang sakit niya mapakinggan. Actually, hindi ako magiging OA, pero ang sakit niya mapakinggan kapag yung yung rider ko.
What's MC Taxi?
So, the likes of Angkas, Joyride,
Okay. So,
Move It, ganyan. Sakit mapakinggan, sinasabi nila, tignan mo boss, Kaya ang sama ng tingin sa lahat ng nagmomotor Kasi may mga ganyan. Pero boss, hindi naman kami ganyan lahat Diba? Tatanungin ngayon ako, boss, tignan mo. Natatakot ka ba sa pagdadrive ko? Hindi naman
correct.
Diba? Pero, because mas na-overpower talaga ng mga kamote, yung mga maaayos, diba? Nasi-stereotype sila. Which is why ako nga as much as I can, I try to push it in my platform na hindi. It's not about the number of wheels. Hindi lahat ng nagmomotor kamote. Kasi pare, I can say right now, I probably have 10,000 followers na nakamotor. Probably 20,000 followers na nakamotor, 10,000 may 2 wheels, may 4 wheels. So by that virtue, 'di ba? Bakit sila naka-follow sa akin kung ang kinakana ko puro kamote at kung ang stereotype pala natin lahat ng naka 2-wheel vehicle kamote. Ibig sabihin, they're fed up sa mga kasabay nila na sa kalsada. Oh. Ganun 'yun.
Okay, let's talk about the enforcement, the government and road safety. Ang dami nilang campaigns, road safety campaigns. Ikaw, base sa assessment mo, how would you assess the overall performance of transportation agencies, including the MMDA, in promoting road safety? And local government also.
I don't feel like right now, with the knowledge that I have right now sa pagkakaupo kong to, I can say na they're not doing enough. Kasi ang sipag na ng mga yan Halos araw-araw may operations, kung saan-saan biglang may checkpoint. Di mo na malaman bakit may checkpoint, ganito, ganyan. So as far as ano pa yung hindi nila ginagawa, ang hirap pulisin nun. Other than yung nabanggit ko kanina, na bakit yung ganun, hindi mo pa hulihin. 'Di ba? So, ang hirap. But I think, yung ibang agencies with their enforcers, 'di ba? They try to look at it ng kasi in the wrong light. Alam mo 'yun? Nanguhuli sila, bakit? Dumadating sa balita yung because may quota kami Kailangan namin makahuli ng ganito. Bakit? Kung wala namang violation, kailangan mo hulihin. 'Di ba? Yung sa for example, sa Pasay. Pasay is very notorious for their enforcers.
Correct. Nanguhuli talaga.
Kasi, for example, yung sa flyover na lang. Diba? Madami nahuhuli doon. Kasi, daw yun? Double solid daw na yellow.
Flyover sa Ross Boulevard?
Pero kupas na. Diba?
Yun pa, isa pa problema yan.
Tapos ang idadahilan nila, wear and tear. Alam mo ba, engineer ako para i-specify mo yung pintura sa isang bagay, you should make sure na capable siya of kung saang condition siya. So for example, outdoor paint. 'Di ba? Pag kumupas yung pintura ng bahay mo na within the next 2 months agad-agad, kahit sabihin mo dire-diretso bumagyo, mali yung pintura na nilagay mo. Kasi hindi dapat ganun yun. So isipin mo kung kalsada. 'Di ba? Anong pintura dapat ilagay mo diyan to make sure na hindi basta-basta mawawala yan? Wear and tear? Anong expectation mo in terms of wear and tear? Kalsada yan eh. Ross Boulevard nga yun. Ang daming truck dyan. May jeep dyan. May mga pasaway na e-bike dyan. 'Di ba? Kotse. So, araw-araw nga kayo nang huhuli dun eh. Walang magre-report sa bureau. Boss, pakupas na ah.
Correct. Pero siya rin talaga
Wala bang nag-check nun? Kanino ba yon? Kay DPWH ba dapat yon? Kay LGU ba dapat yon?
MDA.
Or whoever. Di ba? Why can't it be, tignan mo, why can't it be somebody's initiative to do that? If you care so much about the signage there and yung sa panghuhuli doon, if you care so much about it na, ba't di mo muna gawin? Tapos pag-usapan nyo na lang. Total, it's for the people. It's good governance. Di ba? People pay their taxes anyway. 'Di ba? So, wag na tayo magbilangan. Kung sinong may capacity sana na gawin 'yun, 'di ba? Pag-usapan natin, how do we make this work? 'Di ba? Kasi pare, that's a lame ass excuse. Sabihin mo, hindi, wear and tear yan, ganito, ganyan. Sala sa init, lamig naman, alam mo naman yan eh. Tsaka traffic, wear and tear. That's a lame ano.
So, do you believe also na isa rin sa pinakamalaking problema ng road safety ay yung mga signage talaga?
Oh.
Hindi mo maintindihan yung signage.
Yung visibility ng ano.
kupas-kupas.
Kupas-kupas. Tapos ano na pala, left lane only na lang pala yun. Pero dun sa signage, may konting ano pa na pwede dumiretso. Yun naman sa Paranaque. Diba? May ano yun eh. I think they even took it to court. If I'm not mistaken ha. Nabalita yun. Kasi dinispute nung driver na kita-kita sa CCTV footage ninyo eh. Na pwede kong gawin yung ginawa ko, hinuli nyo ako.
Yeah.
'Di ba? So ngayon, lumabas, tama yung driver. Oh, na ano yung offense? But can you imagine yung oras na kinuha nyo dun sa tao na yun and the fuss that you had to make on TV, social media, ganito, ganyan. Hindi ba showcase of, ano ba yun? Showcase of incompetence ba yan? Showcase of kapabayaan?
Yung lack of signage yung lack of signage, yung mga wear and tear na sinasabi mo, minsan inaabuso rin ng mga corrupt na mga traffic enforcers Kaya tingnan, for example, ako nahuli ako one time. Hindi ko na babanggitin kung saan, city. Gabi na siya. So dahil hindi ko makita yung sign na bawal palang mag kanan kapag naka-red light, kahit pwedeng, alam mo parang hindi naman siya, anong tawag doon yung mga nakaseparate naman siya ng daan? Hindi naman siya pa dapat doon. Pa-right turn naman siya. So, bawal pala doon sa isang lugar. Nakaabang yung traffic enforcer sa kabila. Suppose, wala naman nakalagay.
Ang mahilig nila doon, yung iba yung signage, lalagay nila na, alam mo nang may malaking puno ng dyan eh. 'Di ba? Tapos, ay naharangan ng puno. Oo nga sir, marami na nga nagaganyan. Marami na palang ba't di nyo ilipat yung signage?
Kaya nga.
X meters from the corner. 'Di ba kung no right on red pala dyan? Oh, bakit? Bakit nga ba? We don't know.
Correct. So, imagine, for example, as I mentioned earlier, you can be the ambassador against Anti-Kamote gang, even MMDA, LTO, LTFRB, RD, and other traffic agencies should get you as an ambassador. Imagine if you were appointed, Ikaw, kunwari, ang magiging Transportation Secretary and given a free hand to implement reforms, what would be your top 3 priorities? Ang dami na nating batas, JB, may seatbelt law tayo, may
Anti-road rage.
Anti-road rage. Ang dami natin mga traffic laws na pinasa ng national pero hindi maayos na implement. So kung ikaw ang Transport Secretary, ano yung magiging priorities mo?
Prioritize public transport. I'll make sure na number 1, 'di ba? Na although guys I never dreamt of politics. So ito, kung may future transport secretary na makakapanood nito, kopyahin mo na lang yung idea ko, boss. Tas bigyan mo na lang ako ng credit para at least man lang masabi ko na I was able to push the needle.
Correct.
No? Pero ako pare,
Just recognize
hindi ko pinangarap na ma-appoint, na maging, again, okay ako na interviewin nila ako, sit down, meeting, JB, ano masuggest, willing ako doon.
Maging consultant.
Pero, hindi ako privy on ako yung nakaupo. Why?
Correct.
Eh di wala na tayong check and balance. Diba? Wala nang pupuna eh.
Yeah.
Kung ako na yung ano. But anyway, number 1, fix the public transport. Ayusin natin. How can we, mali kasi yung, feeling ko mali yung perspective eh. No? Na, paano ba natin i-alleviate yung traffic diretso agad? The question should be, what can we do
Solutions.
para ma-minimize yung kotse sa daan and mahikayat sila mag-public transport. You know how in other countries, tatama rin ka nga mag-grab.
Yes.
Kasi ang ganda nung MRT train stations nila, whatever eh.
Correct.
Diba? Mas madali mag-commute. No long lines. Yung mga tren, aircon, maayos yung aircon, hindi tumitirik.
Correct.
Ganyan. So, the locals, the tourists, whatever, ganyan, they don't do it just for the experience. They do it because it's very convenient and to the point na useless naman mag-rent ng kotse, ganito, ganyan. Let's just use the train. So, dapat doon mag-focus yung yung Department of Transport. Do we need to have more buses? Do we need to improve the bus lane? Diba? Para mas madami kayong ma-move na tao na nag-work.
Correct.
Diba? Nata-transport from point A to point B.
I absolutely agree with
diba?
you.
Yung mga ruta. Ano yung mga ruta na dapat pa natin idagdag? Diba? Para mahikayat yung tao na mas madali talaga mag-commute. Diba? Dapat nga hindi mo pangarapin mag-kotse in this economy eh. Ang mahal pa nung gas eh. Tapos hindi ka naman magsiset ng budget pag nadisgrasya ka.
Yeah.
Diba? So wag mong pangarapin. Diba? Swerte na lang kung sino yung meron. Pero again, it's for convenience kasi eh. Diba? Pero again, if maayos yung transport system, walang magpapangarap na magkotse.
Tama.
It's as useless as having your own car in New York. Sabi nga nila sa How I Met Your Mother na narinig ko lang. I haven't been to New York so I don't know if gano'n siya katotoo. Pangalawa, I think dapat pag-usapan ng mga leaders natin, how do we decentralize Metro Manila? Because decentralize Metro Manila.
In what term? Or in what
ikalat natin yung trabaho.
Decentralize the traffic,
No.
Traffic
Kumbaga in terms of trabaho na to yung pinag-uusapan natin. 'Di ba bakit ang daming traffic? Kasi even people from Bulacan, they work in Makati. People who work in Rizal, they work in Pasig.
Decentralize the industries.
Yes.
Okay.
'Di ba? Kaya I think they're doing a pretty good job in Clark. 'Di ba? Ganon. 'Di ba? Pero 'di ba imagine mo if yung mga magagandang trabaho din naman available siya to people in provinces, which reminds me na I do support yung pag-abolish ng provincial rate. 'Di ba? Kasi patay na natin yung Manila Dream. Kaya nata-traffic kasi everybody wants to go here.
Yeah.
What's so nice about Metro Manila? The usok, the traffic, ganito, the buildings, whatever. 'Di ba? But if you put that closer to the people in areas na pwede nating gawin yun, then mababawasan yung traffic because they don't have to go here. 'Di ba? Balik ko lang dun sa transport. Imagine mo kung yung subway
tapos na.
Matagal na nila natapos. Boss, kahit nga sabihin natin na yung mga taga Pampanga dito nagwo-work eh.
Yes.
'Di ba? I don't have to use the car. I just use the subway. 'Di ba? And I don't have to live in Makati to go to work.
Yeah.
Because I just have to use the subway. Can you imagine that?
Yes.
If their public transportation was so good.
We have so many transport policies na, di ba? Meron pang NCAP ba tawag doon? Naging effective ba siya?
Yung NCAP daw, ang nagiging problema doon is that, okay, makapture ko yung plate number. Eh, ang problema, binenta lang kasi sa akin binenta lang pala yung sasakyan. Binenta ko na yan, hindi na ako may gamit niyan. Yung mga ganun. Paano mo nga naman ipapadala kung kanino?
Correct.
Sa paano natin mapapadala kung tama pa yung address. Ganito kaya. So, it's a whole systemic na naman.
Problema.
Glitch na naman siya. Tinanong ko yung friend ko in Dubai, sabi ko, paano nyo ina-upload yung ganyan? Di ba sila nag-AI na sila?
Yeah.
Sa papeles nila, di ba? Hindi mo pwedeng bumili ka ng kotse na hindi mo na lilipat talaga yung pag-aari.
I agree with
Kasi, sige, ikukulong na lang kita. Kung ano pala. Di ba ngayon, so even in Dubai, if you're not a relative of mine, you can never borrow my car. Any of my vehicle. Ganito, ganyan, whatever. Tapos yung AI integration nila, when it comes to yung NCAP nila, per se, fully enforced eh.
So hindi nakatulong to stop these kamote people, riders?
Hindi kasi kulang. Medyo hilaw. Diba, the initiative is there. And ako personally, I highly appreciate it. You know why? Because the stops, they create traffic. Tatabi ka eh. Hindi naman lahat ng area dito, for example sa EDSA, may shoulder para magpatabi ka eh.
Yeah.
Diba? So yung NCAP, maganda sana siyang idea, but I think kailangan pa natin siyang lutuin. Tapos, LTO needs to work hand in hand with these people. Tapos talagang maayos natin yung mga documentation.
I agree. Because NCAP na parang it's one way of digitalizing the government system, no? But the problem is tama ka dun, no? Hindi efficient at hindi
or hilaw pa siya talaga.
Maayos yung pagbibigay ng plaka, licensing, which pupunta tayo sa tanong ko naman na licensing. Nabanggit mo kanina, access makes everyone, I mean, alam mo yun, parang one of the reasons why maraming mga violators, access. Should licensing process or standards dapat bang gawing stricter?
Yes. I have a friend.
In what way?
I have a friend. Sabi niya 2 years na siya driving school. Can you imagine that? 2 years. Because yung regulations nila sobrang higpit.
Correct.
Diba? And yung requirements nila sobrang higpit. Sabi ko, pare, may fixers ba dyan? Sabi niya, meron naman eh. Kaso alam mo, dito, mas mahirap pa magpa-fixer. Gawin mo na lang.
Sa ibang bansa to?
Oh! Can you imagine that? Sa atin, wala eh. Yes or no question na lang eh. Fixer o hindi. Ganun lang siya kadali. Diba? So may nagtanong nga sa akin, I think it was in billionaire din. Sabi niya, what do you think ang dapat pa natin gawin? Sabi ko, dapat pahigpitin pa natin in a way. I'm not sure if it should be may added requirement pa ba dapat or whatever. Basta dapat, I just know na dapat malimitahan pa natin yung mga tao na dapat magkaroon ng lisensya.
Yes.
Kasi sobrang dali eh. You know some people kaya sila kumuha ng lisensya for valid ID. Bakit nila nagagawa yun?
Correct.
Dapat hindi. Kasi kung sila nakuha nila for ngayon ang lisensya good to have na lang siya. Eh hindi nga eh. You have to remember, driving is a responsibility and not a privilege.
Correct.
Yun ang kailangan natin maintindihan. Yung lisensya, hindi yan pang safeguard mo para maging kamote ka. But, yan ang dahilan dapat bakit hindi ka kamote. Kasi may lisensya ka eh. Hindi nila maintindihan.
Our current penalties ba, aside sa licensing, you have to, tama ka, sabi mo, dapat maging stricto sa pagbibigay ng lisensya. Ikaw naman, how about sa mga penalties? Tingin mo po ba yung current penalties natin or yung mga fines
I think masyado mababa. I think masyado mababa. Diba? Can you imagine, kung ang simple number coding na ngayon, if I'm not mistaken, 400 pesos ang ticket. O kung ang hassle mo sa sa buong araw mo, 'di ba? Ibibilangin mo na lang siya in terms of money. 400 pesos na hassle para lang makapasok ako. Tapos makauwi ako nang hindi ako ganun kapagod. Bayaran ko na lang yung 400 pesos. Hindi naman na kino-confiscate ang lisensya ngayon eh. Diba? But can you imagine kung ang mahal nung... Tingnan mo, ba't sa bus din, takot sila? 5,000 eh. Diba? Pero 5,000 lang yun.
Correct.
Diba? I mean, para sa akin, mabigat na yung 5,000. Pero may lumulusot pa rin, diba? Pero nakita mo yung impact na kapag nahuli ka, 5,000 yung piyansa, takot sila. Kasi not everyone apparently has an extra 5,000 para doon Kung yung ibang violation, i-amp up mo ngayon yan. sa mga no counter flowing or for example or sa mga disregarding ng road signages, road marking. Taasan mo yan, tingin mo may ka-counter flow. Tapos sabi ko nga for fun sabi ko, LTO, business idea. Paano kung tikita natin lahat yung mga yan nagsi-counter flow na yan? 'Di ba? Hindi naman nila hinuhuli. Minsan ano pa talagang kinokonsente kasi parang it is what it is. Dapat wag Kung hinuli nila lahat yan, yung enforcer dun sa intersection, may nakaabang dun, inisa-isa niya yan, pang, uli mo lahat ngayon na nakapila dyan, na kung counterflow. Tas ang magkano ang piyansa sa counterflow, sabihin mo 5,000 din, tingin mo may ka-counterflow pa ngayon? Kotse, motor, jeep? Wala na. Matraffic na lang tayo pare-parehas.
Okay. Sa mga batas na meron tayo, ano yung batas naman na hindi totally nararamdaman ang implementation? At you think na dapat i-revise or ayusin?
In terms of traffic?
Seatbelt law, meron pa mga sa plaka, sa road rage, ano yung mga mo?
Tingin ko kasi halos lahat talaga Halos lahat. You know why? Kasi, ang labas naman yan, apart from the road rage wala naman wala naman na-apekto ang ibang tao.
Correct.
So parang hindi nila tinitignan yung traffic law offense as something na dapat talagang seryosohin natin. 'Di ba? It only gets quoted kapag fatality na. 'Di ba? Somebody loses a limb. Ganyan. But for the rest, 'di ba? Hindi nila masyado iniintindi yun. 'Di ba? Anti-road rage law. 'Di ba? Kung talagang takot ang tao sa anti-road rage law, and if the consequences, 'di ba, talagang matindi siya. 'Di ba? Then you would assume dapat bumababa yung road rage incidents, 'di ba? Okay. But you still see a lot of show cause orders nowadays.
Yes. Okay, we're down to some last questions, no? If you could paint a picture of the ideal na future Philippines na safe, no? What would a truly road safe Philippines look like?
What would a road safe Philippines look like? Nang road safe lang pero hindi efficient yung public transport. Di traffic. Pero hindi Kung isipin mo, minsan kapag mas sumusunod tayo sa rules, mas walang traffic Napansin ko yun nung nagsitaasan yung gasolina. 'Di ba?
Yeah.
Wala nang nagmamadali masyado.
Kasi
wala na. Kasi naiintindihan na natin na mahal yung gas So, wag na natin habulin tong yellow light na to. Wag na siguro natin nag-blinking green na. Guys,
pa pala yun.
tigil na tayo. 'Di ba? Wag na natin pigain to.
Kasi if you bilisan ng 'di ba? At doon, yung...
'Di ba? And we were forced to find ways. Yung sometimes, I don't know if it's a silver lining or what, pero pag tumataas yung presyo ng petrolyo, 'di ba? Biglang nagiging creative tayo in ways na paano natin i-alleviate yung hardship ng isa't isa. Bakit nung tumaas yung gasolina, kumbaga yung traffic, hindi siya ganun kalala? Because some companies biglang naiintindihan nila, magpa-work from home na lang tayo.
Yeah.
Pwede na nila gawin yun. Or yung iba, dahil mahal ang petrolyo, di ba ngayon, titiisan na lang nila yung public transport. But yun nga to the leaders out there, di ba? We owe it to the people.
Yeah. Now, maraming mga eksperto nagsasabi na yung disiplina, dapat sisimulan yan. Yung road discipline, dapat nagsisimula yan nung bata pa tayo, o kung sa bahay man. Do you believe na, should road safety and civic responsibility be taught in schools?
That's a good question.
Wala na kasing GMRC.
I'm kinda torn about it actually.
Yeah.
I'm kinda torn about it. Kaya ko lang siya ayaw, quote-unquote ayaw, is because marami nang inaaral yung mga bata and mga estudyante as it is. 'Di ba? Tapos hindi naman lahat din. Although kahit sabihin mo hindi lahat magda-drive, 'Diba? You spend most of your life pa rin on the road kahit pedestrian ka. So it pays to have an idea kung ano yung interpretation ng mga nagda-drive sa mga signages na nakikita mo. And a part of me also supports it because I grew up in it. Na yung tatay ko, nasa backseat ako, sinasabi niya sa akin, ito, pag nagda-drive ka na, wag mong gagawin to.
Yeah.
Kasi ganito, ganyan. Pag nagda-drive ka na, dapat yung tinitignan mo, hindi na lang basta yung nandito sa harap mo. May foresight ka na dun pa sa unahan.
Correct.
Diba? Para may awareness ka na, biglang tumigil yun. Nasa unahan natin yun eh. So,
True.
ibig sabihin, ito, magbabagal na rin to. So, dapat ikaw, nakaantabay ka. Yung mga ganun. So, I don't think I have an answer for that yet. Na dapat ba ituro na rin sa mga bata sa school? But I do really think that parents, at least, they give their kids an idea. Diba? Kasi bonding na rin yun eh. When you're in the car, diba? What signage is this? Total, mahilig na din naman kayo mag-games ng mga anak niyo, diba?
Yes.
Yun yung gawin, what signage is this? Pa-memorize mo sa kanya, ganyan. Parang naaalala niya.
Dapat sa
diba?
bahay nagsisimula.
Yes, nagkakaroon siya ng recall. But at the same time, pag ginawa mo siyang opposite, for example, para sa mga kuya natin, tatay natin dyan na jeepney driver, tricycle driver, some of their kids, they just inherit yung job eh.
Yeah.
You know? So parang lumalaki sila na nakikita nila na ganyan mag-drive yung tatay ko. And hindi naman kami nahuhuli.
Patok yung tatay.
Diba?
alam mo yung patok?
Ano yun?
Yung sobrang bilis yung patakbo na ng mga jeep.
Yun.
Baka mamaya na... So,
diba?
Yan yung, siguro that's the other term for kamote, but for the jeepney drivers.
So,
naman.
di ba nakikita nila yun? So, pagkalaki nila, pagpagod na si daddy, marunong ka naman na, ikaw na muna pumasada. Tapos minsan wala pa ng lisensya. Kasi bata pa eh.
Correct.
Nilagnat lang naman si daddy.
At alam mo, isa rin sa naging tama kayo sa enforcement nga. Alam mo sa amin sa Siargao, ang daming na-aksidenteng nakamotor.
I wonder why.
Enforcement is really a big problem doon. Because, for example, walang helmet, bata pa lang, walang lisensya, nagmumotor na. At ang bibilis magpatakbo. Kaya ang daming namamatay sa Siargao. Dahil dyan. Anyway, personal reflections. Mabilis ang sagot lang. What has this advocacy taught you about Filipinos?
Ang hirap ng tanong mo, tapos mabilisan yung sagot. we hindi tayo natututo hanggat hindi siya nangyayari sa atin. And even if the evidences are there, hanggat hindi ka directly apektado, hindi mo pipiliin intindihin.
Has this work changed your own outlook about life?
Yes. Na hindi na lang to content. Again, this is bigger than me.
So
which is why I understand now the pressure kung bakit ko siya kailangan ituloy.
So that's, you want to leave a legacy
Yes.
na...
Kasi pare, segue lang. I'm changing lives now. When people chat to me na parang, James, nagbabago na ako. Naririnig ko na yung boses mo.
Correct.
Hindi ko na nga ganito, ganyan. Kuya, I wanna be like you.
Yes.
I wanna follow in your first steps when it comes to the driving. It's bigger than me. Pag ganun na yung sinasabi sa'yo, it's already bigger than you. Hindi ka na basta tao lang. You carry a share of the load in terms of, shaping futures.
Fast talk questions. Most common excuse from violators.
Minsan lang naman eh. Hindi ko nakita eh. Ayun.
Yeah. Most overrated driving myth.
Overrated driving myth? Yung nag-hazard pag umuulan.
Nag-hazard?
Pag malakas yung ulan sa mga expressway, nag-hazard.
Kasi?
For visibility. Pero mas mahirap yun.
Kasi?
Hindi ko alam saan pupunta eh. Umuulan na nga eh. So wag ka na mag-hazard. Kaya ka nga may ilaw eh.
Oh.
So wag ka na mag-hazard pag umuulan. That's a myth.
Okay. Most disciplined city you've visited, at least here in the Philippines siguro.
Clark.
Okay. One road rule every Filipino should know.
One road rule. Don't beat the red light.
Driver or rider, who gets unfairly blamed more often?
Driver.
One message to every Filipino road user, not only for the motorists, but also for the riders.
Kamote is a mindset. It's not limited to the number of wheels that you drive. Okay? It's a mindset. It's a choice that you make every single day. You wake up in the morning, gumagawa ka na ng choice from there. Magiging kamote ba ako o hindi? Diba? It's a habit na paulit-ulit mong ginagawa. There's no such thing as a kamote. You can make kamote mistakes. And you can apologize and change for that. When you start to do it every day, kasi inaabuso mo na, hindi ka naman nahuli, kamote mindset na yun. So again, whether you're a 2-wheel driver, 4-wheel driver, doesn't matter. Kahit nga square yung gulong mo. If you're a menace to society, diba? I'm really gonna come after you. And with no hard feelings. It's just tough love. Diba? And yun, mag-iingat tayo parate. Kasi yung mga hindi nag-iingat, nag-e-engot. At yung mga nag-e-engot, pare, tinutugis ko.
Nag-iingot ang
mag-ingat
nag-iingat.
Mag-ingat kayo parate para hindi kayo nakakainis.
Final question, JB. Closing question ko. If kamote culture disappeared tomorrow, what kind of Philippines would emerge? Not only on our roads, but in our communities and society as a whole. Kasi it's a, sabi mo nga, cultural ano siya, problem eh.
Then I think the Philippines would be a better place, really. Because you eradicate the kamote culture, the kamote mindset, then you're creating a Filipino na who's very truly considerate about other people, who truly understands na, you know, lahat tayong may kanya-kanyang disadvantage. So you have to be, you know, more courteous, more respectful. Diba? Na respect shouldn't be rooted in fear, but in common courtesy. But in, you know, yung parang basic sense of respect na dapat binibigay natin sa isa't isa. And then probably, it's probably a Filipino who loves na yung sarili nila.
Yeah.
Diba? Fully confident. Ganun.
Good job. Thank you,
Thank
JB.
you, boss.
Ang dami ko natutunan sa'yo.